everyone. Boker Tov. We're continuing the Halachot of Hanuka. And what's the proper time to light the menorah? So there's a little bit of a discussion if it should be at Shkia, exactly at sunset, or at Tzedek Kochavim. And the Sfaradim are prosek that it should be at Tzedek Kochavim. Regardless, even the ones that hold that it's Shkia, sunset, which many Ashkenazim hold at that time, nevertheless, to still pray Arvit beforehand, because as we mentioned, Tadir Kodem, things that come more often take precedence. So Arvit is more often than Chanukah, so Arvit should be done first. And what I'm happy with our minyan here in the evenings is that we pray Arvit right at sunset, and therefore you're going to pray right at the right time, and then right away to go to light the menorah. And therefore the ideal time. So there's a discussion also in sunset, in Tzedek Kochavim, in sundown, when the sunset, what's the word I'm looking for? Tzedek Kochavim, nightfall, when the stars come out. So there's a discussion, when is nightfall? So the nightfall of Shabbat is about 45 minutes after sunset. Rabbi Aaron Cutler, some Ashkenazim kind of go in the middle, like 20 minutes after sunset. I was speaking to Rabbi Yasayek about the exact timing, and he said you don't have to go all the way till Shabbat ends, like 45 minutes, but he said 35 minutes in Toronto, because also there's different sunsets. Like for instance in Israel, 20 minutes after sunset is like pitch black already, nightfall. And like we mentioned this a few times, if you notice, sunset is at 4:40 these days. Look 10 minutes after, it's maybe now in the winter it gets really dark, but you'll see that it doesn't get pitch black till a little bit later. So he said the ideal time to the Kochavim, 35 minutes after, that brings us to 5:15. So for Chanukah, the ideal time to light the menorah is 5:15. Technically, you could light it earlier from 4:40, but you want to pray Mincha Arvit first, but that's Shkia. Technically, you could even light it earlier, Plag Mincha, which we're going to do on Friday. We'll talk about that, Erev Shabbat Chanukah. But if a person didn't light at 5:15, then you could light early all night long, till the morning, and with a bracha and everything. The ideal time is 5:15 is at time of nightfall, and people are heading back home, and people are still in the streets heading back home, and therefore they could see the lights of the menorah. And the time that it has to be on for is at least a half an hour from the time that you light. After that, you want to ideally to let it go till it goes out. But technically, if for some reason you need to go somewhere, you need to travel somewhere, you need to take off the candles, you're worried that it's going to burn this and that, then you are allowed to take them off after it's been on for at least a half an hour. If a person, God forbid, did not light one night of the menorah for whatever reason, he's sick, whatever it was, he forgot a night, then there's no making it up, and the next night he does whatever the next night is. So if he misses night 3, the next night, number 4, he doesn't put 3 again and make Chanukah like another night after everyone finishes. But no, he lights 4 candles. All types of oil are kosher for lighting the menorah, sesame oil or grapeseed oil or whatever. The ideal oil is olive oil, as was done in the Beit HaMikdash. So too, any type of wick is allowed. Ideally, wicks made out of cotton, as was done in the Beit HaMikdash. And candles are also allowed. The only thing is that you got to be careful with candles that sometimes they don't burn for the half an hour. The standard Hanukkah candles, I think, are made for that. The only thing I find is that I don't use candles, but in the times that I've experienced with candles, is that when they're close together, especially on the days 5, 6, 7, a lot of heat, they burn out really fast, usually less than half an hour. So be careful with those. Another thing just to point out, which I got caught with a couple of years ago, they have these travel packs which are actually really good. These like little capsules. If you need to travel, you buy these capsules and you just flip it over and turn it over, and then you have your menorah with the wick inside. You light it. It seems that if those capsules are old, like let's say you kept them at home for like 3-4 years, it seems like the oil, it doesn't work as well, and it goes out after like 10 minutes. And so just be careful with that. If you're traveling, whatever, invest in just getting a new one, a new pack. Go to the store, like a fresh one, whatever it is, and to make sure that the oil is going to light for a long time. Maybe it was just me and the batch that I got, but it seems like it's a thing. And lastly is that you don't need to change the wick every day. Technically, if you just keep the same wicks there and you just keep on pouring oil every day, that is fine. But also we want to mimic how it was done in the Beit HaMikdash. And in the Beit HaMikdash they switch the wicks every day, and therefore, ideally, one should do it that way. Now, you should also not just throw out the wicks. Maybe keep the wicks as they were used for a mitzvah, and either on the last day of Hanukkah you burn them with any leftover oil. We'll talk about that now, I guess. Someone asked me a question about it. If you have leftover oil on the last day of Hanukkah, not the oil in your bottle, that's fine, because you probably, when you bought it, you figured that if there's any leftover oil in my bottle, I'm using it for whatever I want to use it for. If there's any leftover oil in the cups, and for some reason on the 8th day, it didn't last a half an hour, your kid blew it out, and you didn't relight it, so that oil was actually meant for the mitzvah, and it wasn't used for the mitzvah, then that's holy oil that you can't really use for yourself. So after Hanukkah, you have to just put it in a big bowl and light it with wicks and burn it. If, let's say, it went out after the 8th day, after a half an hour, then there might be still a little bit of oil, but that technically you could throw it out. It's already, the mitzvah has been done, there's no more oil left from the mitzvah. But technically those are still remnants of a mitzvah, so you don't want to discard it, so extra thing is put in a bowl and wicks and light it. But again, the daily wicks, you could either burn them there or keep them with you to throw into the fire with the chametz on Pesach. But again, ideally to switch the wicks every day. Okay, that's that for today. Minchat tonight at 4:20, Zoom shiur at 3:30, and Haftarah shiur not this week, not next week, the week after. Bezrat Hashem. Have a good day, everyone. Taran Deviliyahu.